Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I have a special guest with me, Alex Choi from SoftBank, current head of the AIRAN Alliance. Previously, Alex was at SKT and Deutsche Telekom, and you probably know him as the chair of the AIRAN Alliance prior to this. Alex, we recently interviewed Wakikawa-san, head of R&D at SoftBank, and he shared his thinking on the impetus for the founding of the AIRAN Alliance. For the audience members who are unfamiliar with the AIRAN Alliance, can you share in a few sentences what the alliance is and what's your mission?
First of all, Roy, thank you for having me on this wonderful interviews. So the AIRAN Alliance is a global industry organization established to drive AI-RAN innovations. So our mission is to integrate AI into cellular technologies, enhancing RAN efficiency, reducing energy consumption, and creating new revenue opportunities for telecom operators. We aim to modernize existing RAN infrastructure, improve operational performance, fostering the developments of new business models that redefine the future of telecommunications. So I'm currently working at SoftBank as a research fellow, and also serving as the chair of the AIRAN Alliance, working alongside the other board members to support all the actions necessary to achieve our goals.
Excellent. Those are actually very lofty goals, and I think very relevant for the telcos worldwide. Right, the RAN is a big part of their infrastructure, and to the extent that you can optimize it, make it better, and leverage it for other use cases, I think certainly that's exciting. What is it that's different about the approach, though, at the alliance that you're taking versus maybe other industry organizations that we're all both familiar with and other SDOs, right? What's different about this alliance?
Yeah, that's a great question. What sets the AIRAN Alliance apart from other industry organizations, PP, or an alliance that I was chaired for the last 2 years? It's our unique focus. The difference is our unique focus on pre-specification work and outcome-driven initiatives. So as you said, Wakikawa-san and SoftBank has already discussed the background of AIRAN Alliance in his interview with you. So I highly encourage the audience to watch that insightful conversations. So unlike a traditional SDOs that concentrate on setting the standards, we AIRAN Alliance, we bridge gaps by focusing on practical solutions and pre-standardization frameworks and enabling faster innovation. So our emphasis really on integrating AI directly into RAN for real-time optimization, such as instant program detection and solutions within the network, and offers a very distinct advantages over existing solutions. So with this approach, we ensure that operators are better equipped to handle the challenges of today's network while preparing for the future advancements such as 6G.
Excellent. I think that's the key, right? It's pre-specification. You're not here to try to create new standards or write, lengthy technical specifications. It's more about actually getting the work done. So that's very, I think, practical and pragmatic and useful. And so who are the members in the alliance? Obviously SoftBank, right? And I know we heard from Wakikawa-san the last time that ARM and NVIDIA also featured there. So who are the current members of the alliance, and what unique contributions are they bringing to the alliance?
Yeah, sure. We started with the 11 co-founders, and as you said, as of today, we reached about 60 members, including 4 operators, and I'm expecting it will continue to grow to 100 member organizations before or right after the Mobile World Congress Barcelona. It is a
Nice.
global organization with about 1/3 of the members are US based. And the alliance members comprise industry leaders, innovators, including the operators, the vendors, academia, and startups, and other agency or organizations. So each member brings unique expertise to the table. For example, telecom operators like SoftBank, we provide the insights into the real world and network challenges. And while the technology innovators, vendors, startups, they are contributing the cutting edge AI platform technologies and computational platforms. And RAN vendors such as Ericsson, Nokia, Samsung, and others will further enhance our ability to optimize RAN infrastructure. And of course, academic institutions like Northeastern University, Tokyo University, and many other universities, they are offering a valuable research contribution. So altogether, these members form a very multidisciplinary ecosystem capable of tackling the complexities of the integrating AI into RAN.
Excellent. Excellent. There's a lot of diversity in those organizations, and I think that will stand and the alliance in good stead as you move forward. How's the alliance structured? Is it like, working groups? Maybe can you describe how you're structuring the alliance? Is it similar to other SDOs or is it different?
Yeah, structurally, our alliance is organized into 2 steering committees, 3 working groups, and a board. So the technical steering committees oversee strategy and technical priorities, while the working groups is focusing on very specific work items. So for example, AI for RAN, AI and RAN, AI on RAN. So structurally, our organization is quite similar to the conventional other organizations.
Yeah, everyone goes, WG1, WG2, the usual stuff. I think we're familiar with that. And maybe, can you share more details on, you talked about sort of AI on RAN, AI with RAN, can you talk about more details around each of those type of working groups and what are respective goals? I think maybe some level of detail for the audience could be helpful.
Sure. As you said, we have 3 working groups. First, the AI for RAN working group. They are focusing on leveraging AI to improve performance metrics in the radio access network. And this group explores ways to increase, for example, the spectral efficiency, energy efficiency, and energy consumption reductions, and reconfiguring the existing architectures. Whereas the AI and RAN working group, AI and RAN,
Yeah.
they explore the use of integrated computing and also RAN infrastructures that can simultaneously leverage the RAN and AI and also Gen AI workload. So this group is focused on maximizing the platform utilizations and also creating new AI application opportunity and revenue opportunities, and trying to combine the expertise from different industries to realize the potential of AI. So this integration between RAN and AI will play a critical role in increasing the efficiency of RAN infrastructure and developing, as I said, new business models. Finally, the AI on RAN working group is tasked with defining the air interface requirements or RAN requirements for running AI, Gen AI applications, both consumer side, enterprise, and even the government sectors. So this group is focusing on the benchmarking the performance of all these AI applications running on 5G and also identifying the key requirements and the vision. And the vision of the AI-RAN Alliance is, of course, is adding new value-added features, intelligence to the RAN, which will dramatically increase the operational efficiency of network and also enabling the new service offerings whereby operator can acquire new rev streams.
I think that's the goal. I think operators are always looking, right? How do we get new revenue streams? How do we so-called monetize 5G, right? And that's been
Exactly.
a challenge, right? So given, obviously those are big goals, those are big challenges. The good news is that you've had experience most recently at the AIRAN Alliance, right? And so you've obviously have done this. This is not your first rodeo, as we say in America, right? So what learnings do you bring from your experience into this initiative? What past learnings do you think you can apply here?
Yeah, I have a relatively unique experience.
Yes, you do. Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, my experience at especially the AIRAN Alliance has deeply influenced how I approach leading the AI RAN Alliance here. So at AIRAN Alliance, I learned a lot. So I learned the importance of aligning the diverse stakeholders around a common goals and emphasizing the market relevance in deliverables and ensuring that projects address real-world challenges and faced by the operators or ecosystem. I also gained a strong understanding of the sustainability, critical role in telecom, particularly the need for energy efficient solutions. So all these lessons are now central to how I guide the AI-RAN Alliance in creating impactful and actionable outcomes.
As you said, you have the unique experience that fits this, to a T, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing the efforts and the outcomes of this. But speaking of efforts and outcomes, and I know you haven't been there super long, right? This is not like you've been there 10 years, right? The alliance was founded just last year. And I know the conversation started between SoftBank and you just at MWC, last year. And we haven't even started MWC this year yet. So I know you haven't been there very long, but maybe can you share some of the early, what are you seeing in the early days of the alliance efforts, right? Any sort of thoughts or takeaways, any highlights you want to share that maybe tell us why this alliance is actually different and important, right? So are there sort of things that you're already seeing even in the early days?
Yeah, sure. Early days of the alliance, we focused on understanding the key pain points within the telecom industry, our industry. AI, ML could deliver transformative value. So we focused on this task. And also based on that, we identified the most relevant use cases based on our findings. So by engaging with the stakeholders, so we set very clear goals for each working group and committees that prioritize those use cases. And building trust amongst the members in the alliance was absolutely essential, and ensuring the alignment of the alliance missions and the importance of our work to accelerate the innovations. So this emphasis on the research-focused collaboration and actionable outcomes, that way we distinguish ourselves from other organizations.
Excellent.
We are very research-focused, pre-standardization focused, and outcome-driven.
No, that's really good. I mean, I think that the success here comes down to, I think, the pragmatic nature and the willingness to take research and take it out in the field quickly and test it and get some outcome results instead of sitting there and writing specs or arguing about, must, shall, sitting there and move through those lists. So what's next? What can we expect in the Alliance? What do we expect to see in 2025 this year and beyond?
Looking ahead, our alliance is poised for significant growth and impact. This year, we are considering also the establishment of a new task group called Data for AI, in addition to the ongoing operation of 3 working groups. So ensuring the quality of training data is the most critical aspect of utilizing the AI machine learning. So through this new task group, we aim to address solutions to this issue. We also plan to launch a few flagship projects. And also through our thought leadership and commercialization support, the Alliance will transition its research outcomes into deployable blueprints, ensuring that AI-powered RAN innovation become a cornerstone.
Excellent. I especially like the data one. I've been talking to and working with some of the startups in this space and trying to bring AI to RAN. And one of the biggest challenges that all of them face universally is, where can we get training data, right? And because of all the privacy issues and the like, that lack of training data, lack of consistent training data or easily accessible or standardized training data is a problem. And to the extent that you can help with that tremendously through the AIRAN Alliance, I think that will bring a lot of value to the members and to the wider ecosystem. So that's excellent. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit here and talk about some of the more recent conversations in AI and RAN. And one of them has to do with edge computing that's been around for some time, but now obviously AI inferencing, maybe even AI training, right? And not necessarily all Gen AI, but certainly some of the machine learning, CNN, RNN, LSTM models that we've been using for other use cases, not just, Gen AI type stuff. How do you see edge computing around these AI workloads interact with RAN workloads? And there's been this question, are these independent? Maybe they're basically in the same physical location, but there's a segregation between AI workloads that maybe enterprises are using, right? And the RAN workloads. Or do you see them potentially sharing the same infrastructure? what kind of synergies do you see between the two? I think that's been a question that I don't know if we know the answer yet, but certainly would love your opinion on this.
Yeah, definitely this is a million or billion-dollar question.
Yeah, $1 billion question, exactly.
So
Maybe even
edge
trillion
computing,
dollar.
yeah. So the edge computing, particularly in the context of AI workload, is deeply intertwined workloads. And I see potential significant synergies between the two rather than two independent workloads. A representative example of this is the case of ORAN RIC accepts RFs. So while these are not large scale AI models like Gen AI or LLM, as you said, but the accept RFs in ORAN, they are utilized in the various radio resource optimization within the RAN. So that is a great example how this RAN workload and the AI machine learning workload interwork each other's. And another example is edge-based AI can dynamically allocate RAN resources based on the traffic patterns, user behavior, and quality of service requirements. Additionally, with increasing use case such as intelligent video analytics, AR, VR, and autonomous systems, including autonomous humanoid robots or autonomous car, edge AI workload often requires lowest latency, high bandwidth RAN connectivities. In our alliance, the use of AI machine learning for such purposes is collectively referred, we call it AI for RAN or AI NRAN and AI for RAN. So therefore, their interplay will continue to go much deeper.
Yeah, I think we'll see, I think, different architecture models play out in terms of how much resources are shared, how are they shared, the partitioning of the resources dynamically and to preserve privacy, and on the RAN side to preserve reliability, resiliency, and performance, right? I think there's a lot of open topics there, opportunities certainly for a lot of companies to investigate or researchers even to figure out and make money from that. I think that's going to be a topic of a lot of discussion in 2025. Definitely AIRAN Alliance is going to be one of those places, right? So yeah, no, looking forward to that. Now let's move on to something that a lot of people are talking about because of the recent announcement by NVIDIA around their Cosmos, sort of world foundation model, right? So these world models are getting a lot of action, a lot of buzz out there, and this concept of physical AI. So I just wanted to ask the question, do you see any relevance of this kind of Cosmos World Foundation model and physical AI for telcos?
Yeah, sure. This is a wild question.
Yeah, it is. I know it is.
I know. Try to do my best. Answering. So as you said, they just launched Cosmos, the first World Foundation models for physical AI at the CES event. Let's think about what exactly is the NVIDIA Cosmos. So Cosmos is a developer, according to the NVIDIA's, Cosmos is a developer-first platform designed to accelerate the physical AI projects. So what does that mean? Physical AI requires two essential components for effective training. One is a digital twin of the world, which they call it world model, and a digital twin of itself called policy model. So the Cosmos empower developers to create customized world models specifically designed for their physical AI setup or use cases. So by enabling the fine-tuning of general purpose world models into the tailored application-specific solutions, Cosmos unlocks the new opportunities in fields like autonomous driving, robotics, industrial automation. Similarly, there is similarities. AIRAN also deal with the various physical but invisible, radio is invisible, environment, such as urban, dense urban, rural, indoor, and outdoor radio environment, as well as physical environments within their coverages areas, like buildings, roads, street, you name it. And also, operators have a lot of antenna sites or cell sites, right? Those are all physical assets. In addition to that, we are considering time-varying environments such as user mobility. But unlike robots, the RAN system, we use sensors such as antennas, right? And especially the active antennas act as sensors. And the mechanism guided by the AI algorithm or policies, which are similar to the actuators in robots. So that's how I see the similarities between the two industries or two industry sectors. AI RAN industry, we also need a digital twin of AI RAN, and that can be considered our world model. And when combined with the digital replica of the RAN systems inside the digital twin, it creates a complete simulation environment for AI RAN systems. So this simulation platform or digital twin platform will be extremely useful when it comes to the AI RAN research and development, even the production's operational aspect. So I really looking forward to seeing the various tools and expertise being developed by the ecosystem around the Cosmos, and then we can apply to our digital twin build establishment and simulation environment for AI RAN research and development.
Excellent. I thought it was an interesting and difficult question.
Do you agree?
What I like about the answer is I know it's a difficult question, and I think you had an elegant answer to that. It made me think. I did not think about the RAN like this, right? And it made me think about the RAN, which is, you are correct. The RAN operates in the physical world. There are physics the physics that are sort of in the World Foundation model are inherent too. EM spectrum is part of the world we live in. An electromagnetic spectrum acts in specific ways and can be modeled appropriately, right? The transmission, attenuation, and all that are physical elements. And antennas tilt, right? You can change the tilt of the antennas, right? So there are physical elements in the RAN as well. And so I think that's a very, very, very interesting.
Beamforming,
That's right, beamforming, exactly, right?
Beamforming.
Yes. So there's all these elements that actually, there are physical elements that affect the world we live in, or that are affected by the world we live in. And I like the way that you adapted the sort of the RAN elements to that. That was something that would never have a crazy question, but that was an excellent answer. And we'll see this year how it actually plays out. But I like that. I like that. And obviously, Cosmos is going to get a lot of attention because it's from NVIDIA and it's an interesting one. So I look forward to seeing how that plays out this year. But regardless, I do appreciate your time, Alex. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I usually learn a lot when I talk to you. And I'm really excited about the AIRAN Alliance, just as I was with the AIRAN Alliance when you joined that initiative. And I look forward to seeing that impact in this multi-trillion-dollar, right? AI is big, right? This multi-trillion-dollar environment, or more than that they were playing in. Here's to a successful 2025 for you and the Alliance. So thank you again.
Yeah, pleasure is all mine. And thank you, Roy.